Imagine a time more than 4 billion years ago when Earth was a very different place. There were no trees, no animals, and certainly no humans. Instead, the planet was a boiling, volcanic landscape, bathed in the glow of the early sun. And yet, in this hostile environment, something incredible happened. Life began. But how did life emerge from a lifeless planet? In this video, we explore the fascinating and mysterious origin of life on Earth. To understand the origin of life, we first need to understand the conditions on early Earth. Around 4.5 billion years ago, our planet formed from a swirling cloud of gas and dust. At first, Earth was a molten mass, constantly bombarded by asteroids and comets. But gradually, it began to cool and a solid crust formed. In this newly formed world, water began to condense, forming oceans that would become the cradle for life. Although Earth was cooling, the atmosphere was still volatile. It was rich in gases like methane, ammonia, and carbon dioxide, ideal ingredients for chemical reactions. Scientists believe that life began as a result of simple chemical reactions, where non-living molecules turned into the building blocks of life. The key to these reactions was energy. Energy provided by things like lightning, volcanic activity, and ultraviolet radiation from the sun. One of the most important experiments that supports this theory was conducted by Stanley Miller and Harold Urey in 1953. They recreated conditions similar to early Earth in the lab, and to their astonishment, after sending electrical sparks through a mix of gases, they produced amino acids, the building blocks of proteins, within just a week. These amino acids were just the beginning. In Earth's ancient oceans, a variety of other organic molecules, like sugars, lipids, and nucleotides, also began to form. These molecules didn't just float around aimlessly. They began to form more complex structures, like protocells, tiny, simple versions of modern cells. These protocells had membranes made of lipids that could separate their internal environment from the outside world, a crucial step toward life. One of the most intriguing ideas about the origin of life is the RNA world hypothesis. This theory suggests that the first self-replicating molecules were not DNA or proteins, but RNA, an ancient molecule that can store genetic information and catalyze chemical reactions. RNA is a versatile molecule. It can both carry genetic instructions and perform chemical reactions. In fact, some scientists believe that RNA may have been the first molecule to carry life's instructions, long before DNA took over this critical role. Think of RNA as the bridge between simple chemical reactions and living cells. Early RNA molecules could have formed, self-replicated, and eventually evolved into more complex life forms. As life evolved, RNA began to interact with proteins and other molecules. Over time, the complex systems needed for life began to emerge. Eventually, DNA took over as the primary molecule for storing genetic information. Proteins became the machinery of life, enzymes that carry out chemical reactions essential for survival. This shift from RNA to DNA as the genetic material likely provided more stability, allowing for more complex organisms to evolve. The emergence of proteins, molecules that can fold into specific shapes and catalyze biochemical reactions, was key to creating more sophisticated life forms. From these simple organic molecules, the first true cells began to form. These early cells were prokaryotes, simple single-celled organisms without a nucleus. Prokaryotes are the ancestors of all life on Earth and still exist today in the form of bacteria and archaea. They mark the dawn of life on Earth.